In this video, we are going to learn about constants in PHP. Constants cannot be changed once it is declared. Okay, so once you declare a constant, you cannot change its value anywhere in the program. If you try to change it, you will get an error. Class constants can be useful if you need to define some constant data within a class. So you have to make use of the class called constants. Okay, if you want to keep some constant data within your class. Constants constant means a data which never changes, which remains the same. A class constant is declared inside a class with the const keyword. So if you want to make a variable as constant, you have to use the keyword called const. Okay, class constants are case sensitive. However, it is recommended to name the constants in all uppercase letter. Now, this is the naming convention which programmers have been following for decades. So, it is a better practice to name the constant in uppercase letters. Okay, if even if you don't name them in uppercase, they will work, right? But it is a naming convention, and it is a better practice to use to name them in uppercase letter. So, I would advise you all to name a constant in uppercase letters. We can access a constant from outside the class by using the class name followed by the scope resolution operator. Now see, this is important. If I want to access a constant outside a class, I don't have to create any object. I can simply make use of scope resolution operator, which we have seen during static methods and static properties. The way we access static properties and static methods, the same way we are going to access constant using scope resolution operator. Okay, so now let's look at the example. We have PHP tags, and I have created a class called mathematics, and here I have a constant variable called pi which has a value 3.142. Now this is a constant variable. Now even if I try to change its value anywhere in the program, I will get an error. So its value is always going to remain 3.142. Now I can simply echo out class name, scope resolution operator followed by the constant name. So I will get to see 3.142 onto the screen. So no need to create any object of this class. I can simply access it using scope resolution operator. So let's see this in an IDE. PHP tags. Then we have a class, and let's name it as mathematics. I will create a constant called pi. Now try to name it in all uppercase. Okay, 3.142. Okay, and now I will just print this, okay, using scope resolution operator. So the class name is mathematics, then double colon, which is our scope resolution operator, then the constant name. That's all. Now we'll get to see 3.142 onto the screen. Let's reload this. Okay, so as you can see, 3.142 has been printed. Now if let's say now here I'm trying to access this constant in this function. Okay, so I have a static function. I have to create a static function. Why? Because see, we in case of static properties and static functions, we made use of this approach, right, to display something or to access them. Now since we are accessing constant using this approach, we have to make our method as static. If we don't, we will get an error. Okay, because in case of static methods, we try to access any property using self keyword. If it is a non-static method and a non-static property, then we make use of this keyword. But here, since both of them are static, we have to use a keyword called self, then scope resolution operator followed by the name of the property. Okay, here it is pi. So what I'll do is I'll simply show this to you in an ID. We have PHP. Okay. Now I'll just create a class mathematics, and here I will create one constant called pi, which has a value 3.142. Now I will create a method. Okay, see, public static function display. So I'll just simply echo self scope resolution operator pi, and here I will simply access them using the class name. No need to create the object since they both are static. Then I have a display, the method name. So I'll get to see 3.142 onto the screen. Let's see. I'll just reload this. Okay, as you can see, 3.142 has been printed. See, if I don't keep it static, if I just keep it as a non-static method, I will get an error. Why? Let's see. See, fatal error. Non-static method cannot be called statically. Okay, so I have called this method statically, but even if I try to create its object, let's see if I create now what will happen is firstly I will have to create an object. So new mathematics, and now I will try to access this method, because since I have I have transformed this into a non-static method. Let's see, object, and then we have this. Okay. Now let's see whether we are able to see the output. Okay, so 3.142 has been printed. Now why? Because see, now when it was a, now this is a static, you can consider it as a static property. And in order to access any static property inside any method, we make use of self keyword, right? But since it is a static property, we made use of self. Now I have transformed it into a non-static method. Now if it is a non-static method, I will have to access it using the object. So that is what I have done. Okay, so if it is a non-static keyword, you have to first create the object, and then using that object you have to call this method. So it becomes a bit longer procedure. So that's why what sometimes what we do, we just keep it as static, and then we can simply make one line of code. Okay, that's all. 3.142. Okay, so if so this is one important thing that you have to keep in mind. If it is a static property, you have to use the self keyword if you want to access them inside any method. And if it is a non-static property, you have to make use of this key. Now since this is a static method, I have to access it using this approach. If it was a non-static method, I would have accessed it using the object. Okay, so this was about constants in P. So this was all about constants in object oriented programming. Thank you.